Yeah, welcome to the show. This is Maro, aka Rambicha Bazinga, alongside Nyara Jessica. I was watching Unfolding, and there's a story you tell about your belonging, like where you belong, and Uganda in one song. But you didn't actually sing the whole song. You sang a bit of it. Then you talked about, you and Uganda and how it has affected you, and I would love to know more.
Yeah, I think the song that you're talking about is called Emigrant.
Yes, Immigrant.
Right, Emigrant with an E.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning of that word emigrant means someone who's left everything behind and is traveling to a new place.
Okay.
And then immigrant with an I refers to someone who has arrived in a new place and has established a life. It was actually my dad who taught me about that, but I sort of resonate with that term emigrant because I find myself in Uganda and I find myself calling it home. I find myself feeling at home here. Because my parents are from two different places. My father's American and my mom's from New Zealand. So they didn't put so much of their culture on me.
Oh, okay.
They're more like global minded, I guess.
So you chose the globe for cultures?
I didn't really choose, that's the thing. It just kind of happened naturally. I think because they weren't so specific about what is my culture and what are my traditions and where is my land, and like they weren't attached to those things, and so I just wasn't either. My family moved around quite a bit, like a lot, and when I was very, very young, and then when I was 12 we moved here to Kampala in Uganda, and once we moved here we stayed, and so I was able to really connect with people here, with life here, and it happened both ways. I really integrated into the culture, into life here, especially in terms of the arts. I have a very deep connection and respect for Uganda, and I also have a history here, that
from 12 you must have.
Yeah.
From 12, yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you living?
We were living in this place called Luvugumu.
Luvugumu. Okay. Do you know what the meaning of Luvugumu?
I don't remember what it means.
Okay. Ebugumu is heat.
Heat. Okay.
Yeah, like feeling hot.
Yeah.
And I feel like Luvugumu is actually coming from Ebugumu.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
But
so like the hot place or something like that?
Yeah, I think there was hot.
Or the warm place?
Yeah, warm. Okay.
It's kind of funny because it wasn't actually very warm there. It's like a sort of small area in between Lake Victoria and Lubowa.
Okay.
You know where Lake Victoria Serena is?
Yeah.
So it's like in between those two places.
Okay.
And Lubowa, and Deje is on the other side, and then Mutungo is on the other side.
Yeah.
And Kajansi is kind of around there as well, so it's like Entebbe Road.
Wow.
I grew up there.
Do you take yourself as I or the E?
I mean, I use the term emigrant in sort of like a spiritual term as well. It's not just a geographical thing. I see myself as a traveler in my mind, in my soul, and then also in my life. Geographically, I've been traveling, and it's sort of like a life term, being an immigrant, which means that I'm constantly leaving everything behind and moving forward. Yeah.
So I would love to know about the games that you played, because for us there's dodgeball, you know, okwepena. Did you play that?
No.
Did you skip
I
rope?
honestly didn't have so many
Did
neighbors.
Did you skip? Oh, okay.
I didn't have so many neighbors.
Yeah.
So all of my friends were from different other environments.
Okay.
I did skip rope.
So you had some play dates organized? Or
I was honestly kind of an emo kid. I used to stay in my room a lot, sketch pictures. I used to write poetry. I used to do all of those sort of like emo kid things.
I relate.
And then 100%. With my friends, you know, I would have like my friends from ballet classes or from choir or from like youth groups, or we would go to the cinema a lot with my friends and things like that.
For me, at 12, I think I used to play ball at school. I was in a boarding section.
Okay.
So childhood, school defined more of our childhood because of being there day and night. And whenever you came back home, you were disconnected from the neighbors and the kids of the neighbors, because
they didn't know
you were supposed to find more friends. So I think I also relate, and I feel like I've never had a best friend.
Oh, really?
You get what I'm talking about? Like, there are those people I see with best friends, and they know what they eat. They know their downs and ups. They know their allergies. They know them deep, you know?
Did you have a best friend in boarding school?
You have them this year, and the next year maybe they move to another school. You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But I think I have one guy that I may say is best friend. He was a footballer.
Yeah.
Or he loved football and ended up becoming a footballer.
Oh.
He was always hired to play. And he had small contracts, big contracts. Now went to South Africa. I've not heard from him in a while. That's why I say, if that word best friend is put, if I tag best friend on him, I'm lying, because we should be talking. You get what I'm talking about?
That's not always the case, though.
Okay.
I don't have just only one best friend. I have a few people that I could consider, you know, even both ways, that
then I'm good.
They're one of my best friends. And I think what makes them, one of the components of what makes them one of my best friends is that we don't have to talk all the time.
Yeah, but when you talk,
the commitment and the closeness has nothing to do with how often you speak and how often you're in the same environment.
Right.
I would say some of the closest people to me, we rarely talk.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny because every time we do see each other, it's like nothing has ever changed.
I have a friend. He's American, and I met him in April 2017.
Okay.
And ever since, we have been so close because we share a birthday.
Oh, really?
And we actually
So it's basically your
connect.
twin.
Yeah, we actually connect. Like, I think of something, I ask him about that same thing, and just to check if we are thinking the same thing, and we are thinking the same thing.
You should invite him for Think with Maro.
Yeah, I know he knows. He knows what I'm talking about. He knows I'm talking about him.
Life isn't boxy, you know. It's all curvy and wavy, and you just sort of have to appreciate the relationships that you have, and let that sort of relationship be whatever it is. And you don't have to always categorize it. You just have to participate.
I love that. What are the things that define Nyara?
What do I spend my time doing?
Yes.
Well, yeah, dancing is probably the biggest sort of portion of my life. It's kind of what I was known for growing up here. I spent a lot of years training as a dancer, in ballet, in modern, and then I learned some traditional Ugandan dances.
Like?
I learned some traditional West African dances as well. And yeah, I got really involved in the dance community here in Kampala, and then I ended up moving to New York City to train professionally.
Wow.
Over there. And then I've been teaching. I haven't done so many performances recently, but I've been teaching and then branched into fitness and wellness. I probably spent a third of my life at National Theatre because there was always classes going on, and I was involved in, I guess, performances and stuff. And then I used to go see performances there and support my friends. I was a guest in a few different dance companies. I represented the ballet school a lot in performances and festivals. I performed at the PAM Awards. I performed at Bayimba International Festival. I performed at Amakula Film Festival. And then I co-founded a dance company at KPC called Clay Dance Company. One of my best friends, Kathy, and I, and then another guy called Sam Lutaya. And it's actually still existing today.
Which is great.
Yeah, they're bigger and better than it ever was.
How old were you when you founded that?
I had a sort of semi-leadership role with Kathy since I was like, I don't know, 16, 17, 18. It all kind of happened around the Christmas shows that place was putting on every year. And we were asked to choreograph and direct the dancers for that huge Christmas show. And we did that one year, and we felt like there was a really big gap of dance training in that environment at KPC. And so we started meeting twice a week, and we had different seasons of training in different styles. So we would do a season of jazz, and then we did a season of B-boy, B-girl style, and we did a season of traditional dancing, and we would bring teachers in. And then I taught a season of ballet, and we really like, as a group, as a dance group, started investing in ourselves with like real technical training. And then that's kind of how the company came around. We were like, we need a name. We came up with the name Clay, and ever since I moved to New York City, the company has just really grown and has like a whole life of its own now.
Wow.
And I visit every now and again and stay connected with people, but there's a lot of new members that I don't know so many anymore, and then there's old members that have moved on, so it's kind of like a whole legacy now. And so I was very deeply involved in that growing up. I'm in Kampala. I visit everyone. I teach workshops and things like that. And then recently I've branched into fitness and wellness.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Right. So I really connected with this method called gyrokinesis. Gyro means circular, and kinesis means movement.
Gyrokinesis.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a method that has actually really helped me and my body in the maintenance of my body, because I found out that I have arthritis when I was 25, which is kind of uncommon, because that's usually like an old people thing. But yeah, I have like mild arthritis in my spine, and it really bothers me. And in order for me to keep dancing or just keep moving at all, I needed to take my wellness seriously. So I connected with this method called gyrokinesis, and it's based on the fact that there's no straight lines in the human body.
Okay.
And to really access it and to really address the body and to stimulate all the body's functions, you want to sort of approach it from in circular patterns,
Okay.
and cycles and things like that. So I did a whole series of training to be able to teach it, because I was interested in, deepening my own practice. But now I teach and train people in gyrokinesis, and it's great. I have a lot of good reviews. When people take my class, they literally float out on a cloud. And because it relieves a lot of compression that happens in the body and reinforces your internal strengths. I incorporate gyrokinesis in my musical performances as well. You know this because we played at So Far together.
Exactly.
And everyone was like, what is this?
Yeah,
it's a little strange, but I feel very confident about it, and so I decided not to be so worried. There's a whole series in the gyrokinesis practice called The Awakening of the Senses.
Yeah.
And it's a full body thing, but I don't have time to do that before I perform. So it's a little audience engagement. It's therapeutic and restorative. It can be vigorous as well, but yeah, the foundation is sort of like less is more. I think of the body as a fish tank, and when you have fish inside of a tank and you just like tap on the glass, it seems like such a small activity on the outside, but on the inside, the water, processes those taps, and you can actually kill a fish by tapping on the glass just a little bit, because it's so amplified on the inside.
Okay.
So I feel like the body is the same way, and all you have to do is just like do a little circle in the temple, and then you're like, oh, I feel so. Less is more.
Okay.
So yeah, often when I perform, I go through like the facial section of awakening of the senses. A lot of the things that the human body is capable of is dormant, just because we don't engage with it, and so I think that if we sort of regularly engage with all of the sensitivity of the body and all the functions of the body, then it will probably function higher and function better because it's received attention. So after I do something as small as that, I feel more open, I feel more aware, I feel more kind of glowy, I guess. If people are interested in doing a class with me, doing a session with me, then it should happen in person, whether it's like face-to-face or whether it's, a live video correspondence, but nothing filmed. I incorporate it into my performances.
I've seen.
As a way to sort of open up to my audience, and then have my audience open up to me, and just sort of get everyone ready to receive
your good music.
The music, yeah.
You decided to play Red Flags. Why?
Yeah. Because it's like a song that I can play easily on the spot. I don't have to remember what the chords are.
Okay.
But then also, it's just kind of a message that I've been thinking about a lot recently.
Okay.
About how to treasure yourself. Not in so much of an arrogant way, but in a healthy way.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that a lot, and I've been having conversations with people